I'm a tank. No, not actually, but pretty close. So today we're going to be talking about the Saurian Might team perk coming with Jaffe. No, he's just a friend who loves the skin. The Rex guy, the Rex skin. He is my new favorite addition to this game. He is probably okay. I don't want to say the best hero to be added in a long time, but he's pretty darn good. All right, so. What he does is effectively, if I can show it here, he adds 3% of your current health to the damage of your next ranged weapon hit. It's exactly what it says right there. You know, I know Benz likes me to read for him, so there you go. So this happens every single second. So if you got a high fire rate gun, every single second, one of those bullets, you know, will kind of crit in a way that like they'll add 3% of your total health. So as with this update, everything's bugged. No, not everything. But, I mean, if Epic doesn't... Whew, I'm not going to rant about Epic and bugs, but, I mean, this is not accurate. My shield should be gone. My health should be triple. But regardless, earlier today, I was playing around with some friends, and I had about 1.2 million HP, and my crit was... Well, my Saurian Might bonus damage was like 36,900. I rounded up to 37,000. So every second, I was doing about 37,000 extra damage. And because I oftentimes play with like 120 plus players, depending on who's around my friends and who's on the stream and whatnot, that is about a normal number that I hit, 1.1, 1.2 million health. And so a 30,000 plus damage bonus is pretty accurate for me. So I'm going to be running with that number. And as you can see in my loadout here, if we can cut away from the gameplay, it's pretty normal, all things considered. I like Fleet Survivalist, keeps me healthy because... You don't have shield and you need your health because now it directly relates to the damage you get from the bonus. Mad Tidings, of course, because it's just king of perks there. And then the Saurian Hide is definitely my preferred over the one singular alternative Saurian Claws, which adds nothing to this loadout. And that is why I am so excited about this hero. No, it's not the most damage ever. Are you kidding me? 37,000 every second? That's like... Okay, when a lot of my guns in a group where I'm doing 37,000 extra damage, my guns usually have a DPS ranging from 250 to 300,000. So this is like a 10% damage increase at best. But that's not what I'm excited about. What I'm excited about is to not have a useless hero activating the Blast from the Past team perk. If you guys have seen my videos in the past, and you know just how much I love having that triple health and why I love being a tank. Because the Saurian Hide adds 33 armor, and the way that armor work, as I understand it, I might be completely wrong, but as I understand it, armor adds about 33 survivability. Meaning, if I have 1 million HP, with 33 armor, I can effectively take 1.33 million damage. I don't have 1,330,000 health, but that's about the amount of damage I can take because enemies do reduce damage based on armor, but it's not exactly that. It's kind of weird for me to explain because it's been explained to me by somebody else vaguely, and that is how I understand it. It's not that the enemy is doing 33% less damage, it's that my survivability goes up. And I say that because if I had 100 armor, I would take 0 damage. But that's not how it works. So, you know, I would take 100 damage if that's how it worked. Hopefully I didn't just confuse you. Point is, armor is good. It helps you much, okay? It helps you much. If you have 100 armor, the way that it works as of now, you'd effectively have double health, if that makes any sense. You'd effectively have it. You'd still have the same HP as always, you would just take less damage from everything surrounding. So armor is actually pretty good. This is honestly like a good perk. I'm happy to be able to use it without, you know, like if this didn't trigger Blast from the Past, I definitely have alternatives that I would probably prefer. But Blast from the Past just is so much health. I love it. I love it, I love it, I love it. And Saurian Might is, again, maybe not the most extra damage, but it's really, really nice for those easy kills. When you're shooting those simple zombies, the smaller zombies, the normal ones, 30-odd thousand extra damage or 16,000 or whatever bonus you're getting at the given time is kind of nice. You can kill with one shot pretty often, and that's nice to have. It's important to note that is your current health. So the more damage you take, the less this bonus will be. That's not that big a deal on a soldier, especially when I'm using Rescue Trooper Ramirez. All of my damage is buffed by 50% on top of Mad Tidings. We're doing a lot of damage with this loadout, not coming from Saurian Might. This does affect the Ninja loadout much more, because I'm going to cover this in a separate video, but she adds 16.5 to your current health to melee weapon damage, and that If you get a million health on a loadout like this, you're basically doing 165,000 damage on top of your normal sword damage with every hit. It is not uncommon at full health for me to be doing 200,000 or a 250,000 plus with every hit of my sword. When I crit, it's closer to 400,000. Now, just in case you want to double check my numbers, these are very specific to me. I tend to use the Spectral Blade. This is my favorite sword right now. These numbers are wonky. It says it does 20,000, but don't let it lie to you. That might be, maybe I'm talking to my ass, but that in a group that usually gets tripled, and I usually play with friends. I don't test a lot of this stuff, solo, but a lot of the gameplay you're seeing here is solo because I didn't really have the foresight to record anything on stream today. But we're not talking about the ninja today because my point in that was when your health goes down a lot, your added bonus goes down a ton and it becomes almost useless, and then you're just using the sword's raw power. So it's tricky. This perk, a lot of people say, is overpowered. Somebody in my stream even called it cheating. I'm like, no, this is more balanced than you think. Back to the soldier. I'm just excited. Like I said, to activate this team perk, which I so adore, I had to use Saurian Claws, which is completely useless because I don't use melee weapons. It's not even like, I don't even pull out a sword for fun, unless it's a mini boss, but I'm not using a perk that kind of upgrades my sword a little bit sometimes when I have a mini boss that calls for it. That's not that important to me. To have Saurian Might, I am so excited to have. And honestly, that would be it for the video. I'm not even going to lie. It's a pretty quick little coverall, but I'm going to talk about him as a lead because I'm sure that that's something people are wondering, like, hey, why didn't you show any footage of you using him as a lead today? Why didn't, why is he in your support? Well, his commander perk is only 9%, which, 120,000 extra damage every second is pretty good. That's 120,000 DPS. Like I said, when my guns are usually doing like 20,000 DPS or whatever, let me check. Let me show you right now. So let me show you how that works out, because that sounds like a lot. 120,000 DPS is a good chunk. Hello, you are speaking to Editing Beast. Hi, I found some information. In this segment that I'm cutting out, I was talking about how assault damage dwarfs the Saurian Might in overall DPS, because she adds 50% and he just adds like a little bit of a 9% bonus from your current health, which is kind of a variable. That changes a lot with who's in your party and whether or not you have the pylon activated for health bonus. But I did a bunch of math off camera that I'm not really going to discuss too much, other than I found out that the assault damage goes to the weapon's base damage and ignores all of the perks that you put on it. So it's not as huge of a buff as I originally thought. And the Saurian Might kind of goes around this. It doesn't really care what the perks are for any of your guns. It takes the amount of health that you have from your total, team perk bonus and everything, and it gives you that much damage. So that's why in the previous clips you saw that there were two numbers whenever I was shooting enemies, because it's not an additive bonus, and that, like, it doesn't add to the total of your other damage. It literally is a second damage on its own. And if you use him as your lead, in my example right here where I've got 27,500 health, which I showed you earlier in the video, I would be getting about 80,000 plus extra DPS, which, as far as I can tell, might be better than my Rescue Trooper Ramirez build here on its own. Because I'm not going to take it on and off because I've done this twice, like off camera. I can just tell you with confidence that if I took Ramirez off, this Bobcat would lose about 40,000 DPS. But if I put my Rescue Trooper, or I put my Rex Jonesy on, I'd be gaining 80,000 DPS on top of that, which I might be looking at this a little too simply, but hey, if he gives you that 80,000 every single second, like once per second, that's a pretty flat and consistent buff. However, I haven't always seen the secondary number, so I'm not 100% confident that it's activating as often as it should. I just thought that my findings were interesting. Personally, I'm going to stick with Rescue Trooper for two reasons. One, it's consistent and I trust it. It's 50% of your base total constantly. It's always buffing your damage no matter what, including your crits. And to get the Blast from the Past perk activated, you need Rex in your support team, because if I put him as my lead, we're back to square one using the Ninja Lady, which, as I mentioned, doesn't help me at all. So even though I might gain damage using him, I'm not 100% sure that that's the right play. So yeah, I think I'm going to keep him in my support, but I figured this was something you guys should know. He is a very high DPS soldier. If you're rocking the millions of health, he is giving you a hefty damage bonus. But honestly, I just kind of like using Rescue Trooper Ramirez. I mean, on top of the lovely view of the skies in the background, they are kind of a smaller hitbox model, which is something I adapted from a lot of other games. And I don't know. I don't want to be a giant T-Rex man, okay? It's the same reason I don't use Mad Tidings. I will agree with you all day that he, with his massive, massive commander bonus, might very well be the strongest soldier as a lead in the game. I haven't crunched these numbers, but if I'm doing a really, really difficult mission, he is a very good choice. I was gonna say he's, you know, he looks good as a choice, but I don't want to be a nutcracker. You know, I'm sorry. That's just not me. So there you go. Maybe you guys have a different opinion. Maybe you guys want to know more. I haven't specifically done a ton of the math. I'm basically just going off of everything I've tried out today and what I can read on the sheet. So maybe he's better in Commander than I know. Maybe you guys want to let me know. Comments are below for you guys. This is a work in progress. As with any new hero, there are always discoveries. There are always changes that end up happening. You know, things do develop, but I wanted to cover this guy because I was so excited about him and I wanted you guys to know. So I hope you guys enjoyed this little breakdown, and thank you for watching. If you guys really, really enjoyed that little breakdown, then you should become a patron. You know, these guys actually support me. You can see them on the screen. Look at that. Hey, I even got a new one the other day. I haven't added them to the list yet. I'm sorry, Raze. I will at the end of the month. I promise.